Welcome! In this video, we'll take a look at step 8, create a distribution and content strategy. Okay, it's about creating a distribution and content strategy. What's the difference? Let's take a look at distribution strategy first. This is basically the delivery plan. You're going to decide where content gets published, how often it gets posted, and when. When does it go live? When does it go public, if you will? This is where we think about the platforms, posting frequency, and the timing. The content strategy, on the other hand, is the message plan. It focuses on what the brand is creating and sharing. So are we talking about content types, messaging, and management? Are we posting videos? Are we posting more images, stories, blogs, polls? User-generated content, promotions, you name it. And how the content is planned, developed, and managed. Okay, so a brand should not just say, let's post more. That is too vague. A stronger strategy will be something like, we'll post short videos on TikTok 3 times a week, Instagram stories daily, LinkedIn updates twice a week at these specific times, and so on. And each with content that fits a specific platform, always platform specific. This is what this step is really about, matching the right content with the right platform at the right frequency at the right time. Time of day, time of week, sometimes time of year, depending on product or service. Let's break it down. Your textbook breaks it down as well into mini steps. The first step, we got to determine the types of content that will make up the majority of our social media posts. This is where our brand, we have to decide, are we mainly creating videos? Are we mainly posting images, stories? What are we posting? The textbook lists a lot of options here, from blogs, articles, ebooks, images, videos, stories, testimonials, other things you may not think about right away. These choices, as always, should connect back to the social media audit, your strategy, your SWOT analysis, your brand's analytics, and what the audience actually responds to. The textbook also points out that in the future chapters 4 through 11, each chapter will be dedicated to a specific platform, to a specific network. So you're going to go deeper into what types of content perform best on each specific platform, because what works on TikTok may not be the same for Facebook, for example. And today, we definitely have to mention video. Over the last decade or so, social media has moved more and more towards video, especially short form content. The textbook notes that videos generally perform best across almost all social media platforms. But resources matter as well. So a small local coffee shop may not have the budget to produce polished YouTube videos every single week, but they might be great at creating quick, authentic reels, posting customer photos, daily drink specials, or behind the scenes quick stories throughout the day. A larger brand, on the other hand, may have the team to produce weekly, highly edited videos, graphics, influencer content, blogs, or all of the above at once because they have higher budget. So the first step, the question is, what content can we create? What can we create well? And what content will our target audience actually care about and respond to? Okay, keep it valuable and always keep it relevant. Now it's about the frequency. How often should we as a brand post on each platform? This is where people sometimes think, okay, I think more posts means better results, isn't it? Not always, not always. Posting more can always help, but only if the content is still good, relevant, and something the audience actually wants. The textbook gives you general posting guidelines. For example, for Facebook and Instagram, posts might be around 1-2 times per day. TikTok around 1 to 4 times per day. LinkedIn or X more frequent, and so on. These are starting points. It's not a magic rule you will have to follow, and not a magic rule which makes you succeed automatically. You still have to post good and relevant content and think about your audience and how do they respond to it. You always have to adjust on the go as well. So let's bring our example back from our small coffee shop. We don't have to necessarily post 10 times a day. That could get annoying very fast. But a sports news account during March Madness, during football season, during whatever, totally different stories. People expect frequent updates. So the question is not just how often can we post, it's how often can we post something worth seeing. The goal is consistency without spam. You don't want to spam people. You don't want to annoy people. Post often enough to stay visible, but not so much that your audience starts thinking, okay, please relax. That's the worst case. Content mix for each platform. What does that mean? So now that we know the content types and we know roughly how often we want to post, next question would be, what combination of content should we use? Example, if a brand posts 4 times a week on Instagram, the mix might be 2 reels, 1 image, and 1 story or carousel or whatever. On LinkedIn, it might be a different mix. This is where the strategy matters based on platform. And you always have to obviously check your analytics, what worked well, and stick with that, and maybe adjust it here and there. Stronger mixes could include content that educates, entertains, builds trust, and sometimes even sells. You want to have a mix. You don't want to just post 4 videos and you're just selling. You might want to have a variety of content mix. It's all about finding the perfect balance here. Okay? Just think about what brands you like. What are they posting? Or do you have a brand that you follow that you really like what they're posting? Check their content mix, especially if they're posting more than once per day on a single platform. Analyze those posts. Are they all just selling 4 posts and all selling in these 4 posts? Or they're reposting 4 reels that bring community engagement? Whatever it is, be aware of that, be mindful. The goal is balance. Match the content mix to the platform, the audience, and the brand's goals. Okay? Optimal days and times to post. This is where we look at the best days of the week, times of the week, and we look at audience activity patterns for each platform. And each of the chapters from 4 and ongoing will go into specific best times, best days for each platform. But it makes really important point. Engagement rates vary by network, industry, and target market. So these posting time benchmarks are a starting point again. It's not a magic formula where you automatically will succeed. We can take a look at some examples, times of a week to post. Take this with a grain of salt. Still read your textbook as well. We can also see worst days to post. Usually it's the weekend. For example, let's bring our coffee shop back. Luna Coffee Shop in Texas as a fictional example. Might get better engagement in the morning when people are thinking about coffee, okay? A restaurant might be better around lunch or noon. A fitness brand might do really well in the morning, early morning, or after work. Or what time of year? End of year, especially beginning of year as well in January. Most likely, if you own a fitness brand, your marketing budget, social marketing budget for January is much higher compared to maybe May or July when people are off and don't think about fitness, they want to go to vacation. But this is why analytics matter. The real answer is in the platform data. When your audience is online, when will they engage with your content, and what content performs best? If a brand is new to a platform, we should generally experiment with different days and times, track results, and adjust. Okay? It's all about analytics, track results, and adjust. The same way we did it already when we talked about the social media audit in that video, and I told you we should compare the best performing posts and also compare optimal days of the week and times we posted, because maybe we see a trend. We always post on Friday evening. Friday evening for our coffee shop might not work the best. Maybe we'll see a pattern emerging where we see, hey, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, usually weekdays, mornings works the best, or before noon. So you gotta look for these patterns to see key analytics and data that works for you and your brand. Alrighty, now the next step is putting it all into an actual plan. This is where step 9, the social media content calendar, comes in, and scheduling posts.